in this matter, which is probably the worst destruction of family units in a case that I've had that I can ever recall. Because the damage done to the families and the victims in this case is, and Monroe County as a whole, is going to reverberate beyond our years, beyond my time on this earth, into the future. Because I can tell you right now, and Mr. Jones is going to speak to some of this without revealing protected medical information, that the individuals involved in this incident who have survived, who were able to make it out alive, are going to be scarred for the rest of their lives. And many, if not all, are going to need therapy. They're going to be suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. It was described as a war zone. The Swan Boat Club, when Miss Chidester's car crashed in, one common theme that I can share with you that independently each of my clients has described that was able to speak about this incident is they originally thought that a bomb had been planted and blew up, that this was some type of terrorist attack at the Swan Boat Club because of the force that was that this car, when it blew through the facility and caused all this destruction, that they thought a bomb went off and that it was a terrorist attack. And many, without getting into the specifics of what individuals, many of the people there suffered post-concussive syndrome and a head injury as a result of the crashing into and the shock waves that where they were diagnosed by medical professionals with what's called post-concussive syndrome, which is a type of brain injury. And they're suffering from the effects of that, which include headaches, nausea, and we don't know exactly the extent right now. It's too early to tell for a lot of these individuals. But we're talking about very, very serious type injuries in this case. So I'd like to share with you some exclusive photos that I do not believe are public yet, but that we are able to share as part of the investigation that we undertook. And excuse me, can I have my office allow screen share for me? It says I'm not allowed to share my screen. So these are photos from inside of the Swan Boat Club that were taken contemporaneously that I'm able to share with you. I'm happy to share these photos via email or some other method related to this case. Please contact my office and we'll be happy to do that. So what are we trying to do here? I've talked about getting the family immediate help. I've talked about holding those accountable. I've talked about trying to gather evidence to make sure that those responsible are held and subjected to justice in our courts because that's all that we have. That's all that we can do as a society. That's our system of justice. And in this case, as you know, there's going to be a criminal proceedings. There's also going to be civil proceedings. Both have a different purpose, and both are very important to our clients and to the community at large. You know, that said, this, as you can see from these photos, it does look like a bomb went off. If I showed these photos to you without any context, and you saw the devastation and the wreckage that we have in those, it looks like a bomb went off. And it's a horrible, completely indescribable, the level of pain, suffering, and the tragedy that's been wreaked on the victims who were there, their families at large, and Monroe County in general, and the whole state. I mean, it is a true tragedy that words cannot do justice to. We will work as hard as we can to get justice for the family. Mr. Jones is going to speak to you on behalf of the family. I know that many of you want to hear from the victims. When they are ready, they will speak. I promise we're going to set that up. But some of them can't even get into a car right now because they are so traumatized from what happened. They can't leave their house. So we do ask for respect from the media. Please, with regard to anyone that my office represents, please direct any contact or communications through us. We can't release medical information at this time other than generalities that I've discussed. Mr. Jones, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, at the time, as Mr. Markle said, the family just is requesting some privacy. They feel like there's been some misinformation. They just need some time to heal, as you can imagine, from these wounds. The injuries are severe. We will not go into details about what they are. They are getting the care that they need, but they just ask for continued prayers. And at this time, just please, if you have any questions, direct those to our office, and we'll be happy to share any information that they are willing to share with you at that time.
Thank you, Michael. As well as any additional information, we thank the public who've been providing tips and support to the family and the victims in the form of additional information, which has ultimately led to us being able to amend our complaint. And as information continues to come in, we expect that the additional people are going to be added on both sides of the complaint in this regard. So with that said, I will take brief questions if anybody has questions, but I'm not going to talk about protected health information, and just very brief questions if anybody has any questions for me.
Hi, Mr. Marco. Kim Craig, Channel 7.
Hi, Kim.
Hi there. Can you talk about the what duty did the Swan Boat Club that you believe had to have barriers? We've all seen a lot of stores that do have these barriers outside, but they're not on a major road. They're not in an intersection. They're at the end of a dirt road. What duty, is there any sort of legal duty that you believe that they did have?
Yeah, so any premises owner has a legal duty to keep their property in safe condition and safe repair. Now, that's most commonly seen, if you have an uneven walkway or something and somebody trips or falls on it. But based on our investigation and what we've seen, this was a dangerous setup out at the Swan Boat Club, given the proximity of the facility to the road. I don't care if it's a dirt road or a cement road or a super highway. There's cars and there's people traveling back there. As you know, people live back there, including the defendant in this case. So there's vehicles traveling on this. If you're going to put a building directly in proximity to a road like that, there has to be some type of protection or basic construction. Also, these buildings are subject to building codes. Okay, this is a building code which is set by the city, by the state, for making sure that our buildings are safe, because our buildings are designed differently than they were 100 years ago. And these building codes are imposed to protect the public, to protect tenants, to protect people who are involved. If you look at the damage And by the way, look at, in addition to that, just look at the pictures of the way that this building was set up. It looks like it was made by some Boy Scouts as part of some type of club, Boy Scout club project, merit badge project, which contributes, if you look at the pictures and according to our lawsuit, to this horrible devastation that was caused. So yes, you have a legal duty to keep your property safe. You have a legal duty to comply with building codes, and you have a legal duty, if you're going to put a facility next to this, to just take some basic precautions as it relates to this. So, you know, it's like you drive down the highway, you know, most places you got guardrails, but something needed to be done with regards to that.
Is there a specific ordinance that they were in violation of, building
Yeah,
ordinance?
we're not getting into that right now. We have experts who are going to be part of this case, who are building experts and premises experts, who are going to be offering opinions at the appropriate time, consistent with the court's orders on this case. We'll be releasing information publicly on that issue as well, and we'll make that publicly available at the appropriate time.
Hi, quick question. This is Andrea from the Detroit Free Press. In your own investigation, you know, have you come across any evidence that would counter Chidester's attorney, Bill Kolovos, who says, you know, that she only had one glass of wine that day and suffered a medical issue that caused the crash?
Yes, but I cannot get into the specifics right now. You know, and guys, look, I want to tell as much and be open, as transparent as possible, but I can't do that without, in any way that I believe could jeopardize my client's wishes, confidences from informed people who are providing information confidentially, or do anything to jeopardize the police or prosecutor's investigation, which is ongoing. So yes, but I can't be more specific than that, Andrew. I'm sorry.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. We will be, and I wish I could give you guys a date certain, but you know, this is a devastating incident. We need time for the victims to heal. At the appropriate time, through my office, we will be holding, and what we'd like to do is have y'all live, and we can go down to Monroe together, and we can talk about this, but it's too raw right now for the clients who are just trying to mend their wounds. But I promise you, at the appropriate time, we will have an in-person press conference. You'll be able to hear directly. We're not going to do anything, as I've said 10 times, to compromise the investigation or the police, and making sure that the criminal investigation can play out. But I promise you, there's going to be some very interesting new details that are going to be coming out in the coming week and weeks here. So thank you, everybody. If you need the photos, we're happy to produce those. I am happy to produce those. You can contact my office. Thank you.